Welcome to the Gorilla 5 video series. In this lesson, Part 2, Breakdown Sheets, we're going to learn more about breakdown sheets. Some of the things we're going to go over are how to enter estimated time onto breakdown sheets, how to create and modify index cards, how to duplicate breakdown sheets, how to find scheduled elements on breakdown sheets, and lastly, how to merge breakdown sheets. Okay, so let's go into Gorilla and make sure our schedule is selected. And from the Gorilla toolbar, let's go ahead and select the breakdown button. And this, of course, is going to take us to our breakdown sheets screen. I want you to notice the first thing here is that the estimated time field is here underneath the phase field. Now, this is a new feature in Gorilla 5, and what, of course, this allows you to do is enter the estimated time for a particular scene. Now, of course, you'll have to go through this scene with your director and, of course, your DP and figure out how long a certain scene is going to take. Let's say this scene, scene 2, is an establishing shot, so we really don't need any actors here. So it'll take about an hour to set up and shoot. And what you can do is you can do this for every single scene, and when you pop on over to the strip board, each strip will have the estimated time on that strip. So you could see, and it'll help you figure out exactly how long it's going to take you to shoot a scene in terms of the complexity or in terms of how long that particular scene is. Let's say it's a 2 or 3 page scene. And then it'll help you schedule your scenes on your board. And we're going to go over that when we go to the strip board later on in another lesson. The next thing I want to show you is the index card button. Now, each breakdown sheet has this index card button, and if you click on it, it allows you to enter index card information onto your breakdown sheet, basically. So each one of these has its own little card that you could put anything you want in terms of the story, for example. So you could put in a title of the card here. Now, if you want, you could just free-flowingly type things in here, or what you can do is you can go to Final Draft, for example. Let's go ahead and open up our screenplay real quick. And let's say this is scene 1, of course, so we can literally copy scene 1, the text, and paste it in there. And we can have basically our screenplay we can have here with us while we go ahead and schedule our breakdown sheets. Now, another nice thing about the index cards is that it brings information in from Story-O. If you do have Story-O and you've created your outline in Story-O, you'll remember, of course, that Story-O has index cards here that you can drag and drop. And let's say you want to edit the card and you could bring in all this information from Story-O right into Gorilla if you're importing your information from Story-O into Gorilla. And that's Story-O. Let's go ahead and close that. And, of course, on the right-hand side is just another representation of your elements, screenplay, and picture, which, of course, is mimicked in the Story-O program. Another thing I want to show you, and you'll see this throughout Gorilla, is some of the windows that appear will have this anchor button on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Now, what this allows you to do is it allows you to permanently set that window placement to the position that it's in. So, for example, let's say I want this window to be down here. I can click on the anchor button, and if I close this window, and then I go ahead and open my index card again, notice it positions itself right where I left it down at the bottom. Now, this is, of course, is important if you have a large screen, or even sometimes if you have a small screen, or even 2 screens, and you want the window to open in a particular position, and you don't want it to move. You can, of course, use our anchor feature to do that. Now, this also goes along the same concept with the toolbar. Notice our Gorilla toolbar is our floating toolbar. We can move it around, and we can go to different scenes here. Notice it doesn't change. Even if we go to the contacts or locations module, this toolbar will not change. You can move it around wherever you want. All right, let's move on to the next topic. The next thing I want to show you is how to duplicate a breakdown sheet. Now, this is an important feature because what it allows you to do is, let's say, for example, scene 11 is a long scene or complicated scene, and we want to shoot scene 11 over 2 days or 3 days. or more for that matter. When we go to the board, our strip board, scene 11 is only going to be one strip, and we can only schedule it right now on one day. Now, if you want to schedule it on 2 days or 3 days, the easiest way to do that is to go in and to duplicate that breakdown sheet so you have 2 sheets, and then you could schedule both sheets or 2 scenes on 2 different days. So let me show you how to do that. So let's say we're going to go up to duplicate scene 11. Under the File pull-down menu, we're going to select the Duplicate Breakdown Sheet option. And notice it creates a duplicate of scene 11. It added copy to the end of the scene number. And over here, notice our scheduled elements literally copied all our scheduled elements from scene 11. So we don't have to add them in again. Now, if we go to the board, we will see 2 brown 11 strips. Now, we can modify the copy to A if you want, or we can change that scene number to whatever we want. But we will have 2 scene 11s on our board, and we can schedule those scenes on 2 consecutive days, or even non-consecutive days for that matter. Let's say we want to do the second half of the scene on a completely different day. And that's what the feature duplicate breakdown sheet is. If you want to do it again, simply come back, duplicate the breakdown sheet again, and you'll have 3 scenes. And of course, you can modify or add information to the scene. Now, if I go ahead and add this particular prop to scene 11A, of course, as you probably figured out, it does not add it to scene 11. So you would have to do that if you wanted that to occur. Now, let's take it similarly. The next part of the lesson is how to delete a breakdown sheet. Let's say we want to remove a breakdown sheet for whatever reason. Let's say we're not going to shoot it in our schedule. If you want to delete it permanently, what we can do is under the File pull-down menu, select the Delete Breakdown Sheet option, and that, of course, is going to give you a warning, and it's going to permanently delete that breakdown sheet. So that's gone. Okay. The next thing I want to show you, which is a nice feature, is how to view our breakdown sheets in a very simple, different view. If you go to the Breakdown pull-down menu, you'll notice this List Breakdown Sheets option. If we select that, notice that it'll display a window with all of our breakdown sheets in this very nice Excel type view. And then we can go ahead and we can actually go into the fields and modify the information if we want for any particular field. We can actually sort by different criteria, by the columns. If I click on the Set column here, it will sort, of course, by set. Similarly, if you want to see all the day scenes together and all the night scenes together, etc., you could select that button here, that label, to sort by the day-night field. Notice also that, for example, the sheet number is empty. Now, of course, we can go in and, if we want, put in our sheet number one by one. We don't have to do that. Sheet number is an option that you can use or not use. But under the File pull-down menu, there is a Renumber Sheets option, and this will automatically number our sheets. Similarly, we can also renumber our scenes. If, for example, our scenes are, scene 10A, 11B, 14C, whatever it is, and we just want to have a very simple 1, 2, 3 kind of a thing, we can go ahead and renumber our scenes. Then they will not match our screenplay, so that's important to understand, but you do have the ability to renumber your scenes. And lastly, to go to a particular scene, let's say we're on scene 1 in the background in the detail of the breakdown sheet, but let's say we want to go to scene 11 or 12 or whatever we want to go to. Let's click on scene 5. We click on that blue arrow and automatically we'll go to scene 5, and we can then modify information for scene 5. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how to find scheduled elements or find scenes with certain elements. And let me show you how that works. Let's say, for example, I want to find all scenes with certain props in them, or cast members. So let's go under the Edit menu and select the Find Scheduled Elements option. What this allows you to do is to select a category. Let's say props, and I want to find all scenes with plunger. I also want to find all scenes with white sandals. So notice it's building a list here of all the elements to find. Now I could do this with anything, of course, as I can put whatever I want in that list by just selecting the category and selecting the element. And let's go ahead and click on the Find button. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me the two scenes that have either or any of those elements. So scene 4 and 19, and let's just verify that. Let's go to scene 4. And scene 4 had the plunger. As you can see, we looked for plunger. So scene 19 should have at least the white sandals. So let's go to scene 19, and there's the white sandals. So this allows you quickly to see how many scenes have a certain particular element that you need that's already scheduled on a breakdown sheet. And to close this window, if you don't, by the way, see a close window on the bottom right or possibly on the top right, those are usually where we have our close windows, you can go to the File pull-down menu and select Close Window, or just use the Command key. Now, the last thing I want to show you in this lesson is how to merge breakdown sheets. So, for example, let's say that we want to merge two breakdown sheets. Let's say scene 3 and scene 11. Now, notice scene 11 has 3 elements: Barney, Amanda, and Figurine. And scene 3 have a whole bunch of elements here. But just notice, just sort of mental note that this scene has these 3 elements here. If we want to merge these two scenes together, let's go ahead under the breakdown pull-down menu and select the Merge Breakdown Sheets option. And let's go ahead and select, we're on scene 3. I'm going to select scene 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge scenes 3 and 11 together to create one scene. Now, what this is going to notice on the scene navigator, how scene 11 disappeared. So we have scene 12 here, and then it jumps to scene 10, and then it jumps to scene 12. Scene 11 is gone because what it did is it merged scene 3 and 11 together. Notice up here, scene 3 and 11 is right there. And if you look at scene 3, notice at the very bottom, remember those 3 elements I told you to take note of, Barney, Amanda, and Figurine. Gorilla took those 3 elements, deleted scene 11, and popped them on over to scene 3, which is now, of course, labeled scene 3, 11. Now, this also is important to note where the sheet number takes place, where you could understand the difference between the scenes field and the sheet field. This is breakdown sheet number 3, but breakdown sheet number 3 contains scenes 3 and 11. So it's very possible that a breakdown sheet can contain more than one scene. When we import our screenplay from one of our screenplay programs, by default, each scene is really just one sheet, right? Remember that when we renumbered our sheets? Each scene is one sheet. But if we start playing around and we want to merge scenes together, we can do that. And of course, the sheet number will then start to differ from the scene number. Okay? So now that you know all about breakdown sheets, the next lesson we're going to show you how to print breakdown sheets. That's a wrap. Have a great shoot.